So welcome to the Window to Dubai.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
I'm here with Steve Bwye.
Bwye.
We've been practicing this before we started.
Yeah, get it wrong.
You said it's the way of Jamaican saying boy, right?
Yeah, same thing. Bwye. Bwye.
Yeah. So you are a fitness entrepreneur, and the reason we're kind of going down that road is because you have a couple different businesses within the fitness industry. Right. You've got a food prep company, and you've got a personal training business that's really kind of unique, right?
Yeah.
Let's start with the food business because that's what kind of got you into the industry.
Yeah, 2.5 years ago, kind of came out of the corporate rat race in banking and decided, what is my passion in life? And my passion's always been fitness and eating well, and I love food. So when I was sort of taking my training a bit more seriously, I was looking for the right kind of fitness nutrition in the market, and there wasn't really much here. So 2.5, 3 years ago when I was kind of really big into it then. So I thought, this could be something, this could be a gap in the market that I take advantage of. And I cook quite well myself, so I was like, should I do it myself? Should I just go from scratch? Or should I actually set something up that's really legit that I can kind of share with not just my friends, but the whole market? And yeah, that's where kind of Feedz was born. We started off with Fitness Feedz, which is just meal prep, and recently we've just launched Gourmet Feedz meal plans, which is your kind of lifestyle, healthy, gourmet stuff.
Yeah.
So we're kind of branching into those two because not everyone just wants, chicken and rice, meal prep type things. And we don't just do chicken and rice, we do other things as well. We have lots of combinations, but mainly it's very macros orientated as far as that kind of company's offering.
The bro diet.
Yeah, exactly. The muscle diet. And then you've got the Gourmet Feedz, which is kind of, your busy banker that needs to keep healthy but doesn't necessarily care about how much protein and carbs he eats. That's been really popular since we soft launched it, and now it's going to market in the next week or two. So.
See, I think that because I like to eat healthy, but I don't like to cook. So meal preps is like a great business plan for me to eat because I like to eat healthy food. I just don't like to cook it.
It's super convenient.
For me, it's super time consuming. I just don't have time, and then you forget, and then you just end up eating shitty meals or bad meals. Sorry, I'm on camera. Bad meals. You end up eating something you shouldn't eat, and it's kind of just like snowballs, and then 5 days later you're fat, and you just don't know what happened to you.
Yeah, I think that's a big point actually. Not many people have the ability to just intuitively eat. You look at a meal and you're like, yeah, that looks about right size wise. What fills me up. And they don't realize how many calories on certain, ingredients that they really enjoy. They eat every day because, I love potato, whatever. So the beauty of a macro nutritional diet plan is that it's all calculated, weighed for you. You don't have to think about it. You just get the meal out of the fridge, you stick it in the microwave, and then you start eating it. And then you know that that's what you should eat in that day at that point because of your height, age, weight, activity level. That's why it's done so well. And the other reason is that the supermarket food costs are incredibly high here. Everything is imported. So to even buy the ingredients, go home and cook for yourself is probably 3/4 of the cost of a meal plan in its own right. And what better way to just not think about it, open your door in the morning, take your stuff, and off you go to work. So.
And just speaking about the business part of what you do is you were telling me that really the big investment that's kind of propelled you is the investment in technology. Even though you're a food business, really the core of it is a technology that people can make the orders online, it automatically does it, and then it kind of spits out the order, and then your team just fulfills that order, right?
Yeah. For me, technology is the future anyway. I've always been a big advocate of trying to technologize your business. And for me, it's processes, like human error, processes, scripts, sheets, paper and pen. This stuff is very inefficient. I know some people love it, especially in the food industry. Chefs love to keep paper and pen because they can keep themselves organized because that's what they learned when they were 16. Now they're 32, they're a head chef, they still do the same process. For me, it was about investing the money and putting the risk in technology in the basis that not only can the client order much easier just online, but also all of the processes for my staff become far more efficient. I need less staff, I make less errors, I give a better service, a better product. Regardless of whether it's chicken or rice, someone wants it without headaches and hassle. And technology will give you that. Not necessarily many men, many women that are in your business sort of dealing with processes. That's why I put the money up in that more than just building a big team of chefs and admin staff. We're very lean. We only have a few members of staff, and we'll have even less need for staff when our new website comes out, which we're now investing more money into.
And this actually led you into the personal training space, kind of being in there, you're constantly dealing with personal trainers and you kind of got pulled into it, really.
Completely accidentally, yeah. I was PTing, personal training on the side, just to kind of make ends meet, so I didn't take money out of the business. It was still a new company. Big believer in keeping the money in the business and not spending it yourself. You can get a bit carried away when you have good months, so it's better just to keep it separate. And then, so I was personal training on the side, and I didn't realize like the personal training industry here is very social media influenced, and I was gaining quite good success from not even using social media, just from being a people person, using some of the skills from my background in corporate negotiation skills. And I built up a really good personal training business for myself just to get by. And I was getting trainers asking me for advice, like, how do you have so many clients? Like, do you charge a cheaper price? Like, there must be a trick that you're doing that we haven't figured out yet, because they'd been in the industry a lot longer than me and had much greater following and much more exposure through the sort of today's marketing tools. And then I ended up giving some advice to a few trainers who convinced me that it was a good idea to start what then became my personal training business, Rebel DXB. And we started off with a few trainers. I thought I knew the formula that they needed to follow to become successful, and it was a case of seeing that through. And then in hindsight, it was great. We made some mistakes at the beginning, but much more gains and much more sort of positives than any real sort of big mistakes at the beginning. And then that led us to learning what the formula is for success, and we kind of templated that for the whole business. So we weren't just the same as any other personal training business. We weren't just sitting there waiting for clients that needed personal training and then giving them a mediocre service in a gym as another trainer. I wanted them to all be more skilled, more influential, more kind of focused on the clients. And we talk about the 1 hour experience, which not many training platforms do. Is if someone's paying for your services, regardless if they buy 10 or 20 or 30 sessions, you give them the 1 hour experience that they're not going to forget, that they look forward to, that they're going to tell their friends about, they're going to tell their colleagues about, because results will come. Anyone counting reps can get results. Not everyone can convince someone to talk about you. And that's the kind of skills we sort of brought into that system.
See, I don't think I shared with you, but I kind of had in my early 30s, I went through like a personal transformation where I was out of shape. I was a corporate guy. And I actually did a few fitness competitions, like men's physique competitions, because I got really into it to make the transformation, like 6 months diet, sticking to it, working out, everything, right? But it really was more the mental, I think, that the trainer had with me of convincing to change my lifestyle, because I actually went from party guy, weekends, hanging out, drinking, to fitness guy, working out, eating right, cardio, putting the whole package together to make it. And it was more mental than it was physical.
So definitely psychological, and that's the test of a good trainer. Anyone can pass a level 3 personal training skill certificate, level 4. It's not that hard. It's not such a hard exam that you have to be a doctorate in that. What separates the good from the mediocre is the ability to engage with a human being on a different level, a negotiation between you as a relationship, that everything that trainer says you follow. That follow, and we're talking about even CEOs or people like yourself with your own business, that you're the top of the tree of your world, but you can have a trainer that is seen as not necessarily a particularly highly skilled job. Convincing someone of that level to be able to follow everything you say is a negotiation that not everyone has, and that's a skill that I believe trainers can really benefit from. Anyone that's struggling in the fitness industry, because it is definitely very tough, it's about convincing that person to change their lifestyle completely. Even if they are kind of on the right path, or like yourself had made the decision, can you push them to compete and can body transformation that they would have never imagined? That's negotiation, that's psychological.
And part of what Rebel DXB has become for you, it's kind of a platform for struggling personal trainers kind of come in and learn how to, the skill of running their personal training business. It's not just your existing base of trainers. There's a lot of new people that come in and you kind of guide them and teach them that formula, right? Yeah,
it's a mentorship program, really. There are so many different ways you can be a trainer in Dubai. Why come and join our platform? Well, I'll teach you skills, and there are skills already within our team that you're not going to learn just from personal training or doing that job day to day. it's negotiation skills. Like I say, it's actually building your own brand. And I think any personal trainer that really wants to take hold of their career and excel and stand above the competition is to build a brand, not just from a marketability point of view to get free stuff. The influencer lifestyle is a bit different. I'm talking about a brand where people talk about you, in the same sentence as if you want a really good trainer, you need to speak to. And that is only by, people talking about you because they know of you, and that branding and that perception is created by how you develop that brand from the core. Like, what are your skills? What separates you from other trainers? And that's what we do with Rebel, is kind of bring you in. You could be great at one thing or another thing or another thing. It doesn't really matter what your fundamental talent is, but how do we extract that, turn it into a really huge skill and a unique selling point in the market, brand it, get everyone to know you as that, and the success follows. And that's, I believe, in any industry that can work, but more so in personal training. That's kind of what we've got.
And on kind of just a corporate level, you've also moved into the space of corporate wellness, which is kind of a space that I think a lot of personal trainers aren't in, and you have taken the business kind of in that direction.
I think that a lot of personal trainers don't really know what corporate wellness is. They kind of figure it's personal training in businesses. And whilst there is personal training one-to-one and group training within corporate wellness, it's much more detailed than that. There's much more analytics involved in changing a workplace culture. And that's what we try and build into our planning for them. It's coming in and saying, how motivated is your sales force? And they will say, yeah, we have great sales managers. They motivate our staff. No. I mean, how motivated are they to get out of bed every morning, come to your company over anyone else's company, to work hard and be energetic and really push the sale? You can only have that from someone that feels good in themselves, that has that confidence, has a brand loyalty to the company they're working for, because the company is looking after their health, their well-being. And that's a workplace culture change. And that's what corporate wellness should be. The idea being that it pays for itself. You have more motivated staff, they don't leave you. They drive revenue through sales. You save costs on sick days, you save costs on disciplinary, and you have a longer sustainable business because of that. And the more businesses that can catch up with this trend, and there are places in other parts of the world that are very hot on this now. Dubai has a long way to catch up, but anyone that's considering changing the culture within their business should consider at least budgeting something for corporate wellness. So they can save the money on sick days alone if you do the budgets.
Yeah. And the unique thing about your story is we just sat in here and talked, I don't know how long, purely about fitness, but you really have a banking background, right?
Yeah, so I fell into banking accidentally after university. I needed a part-time job, and I worked for a big international bank from the bottom. I started at the bottom and kind of worked my way not to the top, but to a reasonable, comfortable level, in a corporate world. It was an international corporate world. It took me around Africa and different places as an offshore banker. And that's where I guess I learned more of the negotiation, the kind of corporate skills that I now try and tailor for personal training, which they don't have necessarily a background in that. And you find sometimes actually you meet a personal trainer that used to be a corporate a corporate lawyer, corporate banker, and just needed to get out of the rat race. And you find they tend to be the more skilled, more successful trainers because it's transferable skills.
Yeah.
It's people skills more than anything. So
yeah. And so what is the way where people can find you, your handles for your businesses?
Yeah, so you can either reach out to me direct on my Instagram. It's Jim Rascal.
Jim Rascal.
Jim Rascal. When you're thinking of a handle and you think it sounds funny and people don't remember you, get started with that. So I had that. But even at Rebel DXB, very simple. At Rebel DXB, send me a DM. We have the email address. I have my telephone number. You can just click the call button. Send me a WhatsApp, and by all means, I'm happy to help anyone. I mean, if you don't join my team for whatever reason, some people cannot be managed. Some people don't want to be managed or babysat or anything like that. They feel like any kind of managerial influence is going to disrupt their kind of career and their lifestyle and the way they want to live their life. There's no problem with that. Some people are meant to be on their own, and those people can reach out to me for a different kind of mentorship. I have a lot of time in the day to spend with anyone that's wanting to further their career. It's not all about just making money from my business. So.
And what about Feedz? How do they find Feedz?
Feedz, it's feedz.me on website. So you just go to www.feedz.me And it's either Fitness Feedz is the handle, or now Feedz.me on Instagram as well for the gourmet. We have the meal prep and the gourmet, but it's all on the Feedz.me website. So
nice. Awesome. Is there anything else we should add? I think it's a great episode. I think we can close it, but if there's something else you want to add?
No.
We got
That's
it?
pretty much,
Awesome.
That's pretty much me in
All
a
right,
nutshell.
thank you so much for being on.
Thanks.
Appreciate it
Yeah.
so much.